Hi and welcome to FilmDirt. Let's talk about Top Gun. I thought it would be a good time to talk about this classic 80s film. We've got the sequel coming out soon. I've heard it's been on the shelf, finished, for a number of years now as we're coming out of the pandemic. Hopefully it will see the light of day pretty soon. So let's look at the original. I've always loved Tony Scott and his films. I think he's great. He's always put out good movies. They've not been deep Shakespearean movies, but for action and drama and good looking visuals, they've certainly got those. I've always loved this movie from Tony Scott and also True Romance, which I'll no doubt cover in a future video. So, Top Gun. It's really a fantastic trailer for joining the military. It makes everything look so cool, and we certainly get to know these pilots and their aviation school. And I know it's been said to death, but this film looks amazing, and it's got that sunset filter, the orange warm glow, and that's been a staple of a lot of Tony Scott's movies where I've heard interviews from people that worked with him is that he loves to get everything looking good, and he puts a lot of haze and smoke into his sets. I actually worked with someone a short while ago that worked with him back in the day on Spy Game, and he said he's just a lovely, genuine man, uses a lot of smoke to just get that old classic look into his films. It's hard to describe. It's like a mist, a haze, and when you've got the rays of the sun peering through, window slats, and it just looks amazing. It's a photographer or an artist's dream, isn't it? Just to get those great looking visuals and good looking actors on those sets. We don't usually get that style of filmmaking or style of visuals in modern films. Maybe I've missed them, but I love that 80s look, and by 80s look I do mean like everything's slightly soft and orange. I think a lot of 80s TV was like that, where I don't know, I'm just thinking of a few shows. There was an orange gold filter, but very slight, and it just looks 80s, and almost transports you back in time, doesn't it? Like this movie does. I've revisited it in the last couple of days, and my only nitpick, and it is a very small nitpick, in that nothing serious seems to happen in this film. There's no real serious threat, and I mean that from a military point of view. I know serious things happened in the film, just like the loss of one of the characters, but here we get the aviation school, and there's that conflict between the seniors and the students. You've got the Jester angle to it, and obviously he's the hard boss that no one really becomes friends with, and superbly played by Michael Ironside. This guy is a legend. Every role he's been in, I love to watch Michael Ironside. He's just awesome, isn't he? So you've got all this going on, and that's really interesting in itself. And with the soundtrack, that's what makes the movie, where there's a slight real-time military presence, skirmish going on, and that's right at the end of the film. So really, you've got the whole movie, which is a trailer, and nothing really happens. But what a great trailer it is! It's full of nostalgia, and Tom Cruise looks great. This is probably the film. Is this the film that really put Tom Cruise on the map? He was probably already there, wasn't he? And so was Val Kilmer. He was already there. I mean, he's a great movie star. Takes on slightly quirkier roles than Tom Cruise has. I love Val Kilmer's work, and I love a lot of Tom Cruise's work as well. I mean, there's so much good that's come out of this movie. And I've got to mention the soundtrack. I mean, how can you not? Highway to the Danger Zone by Kenny Loggins. It just screams 80s at you, doesn't it? And when I think of Top Gun, I just think of the jets sitting on the carrier, and you've got the plumes of smoke as the engines fire up and they shoot off into the distance. Oh, it's fantastic. If you've got a projector and you want a rolling image beamed onto a huge wall or a screen, it's got to be this movie, isn't it? the first intro sequence to this movie, and oh, it looked fantastic. And like I said at the top of the review, I love Tony Scott's work. I'd love to cover a lot of his films going forward on the channel. Sadly, he's no longer with us, and that is a great shame, because I think as he got older, we would have seen some fantastic quality work coming from him. As a fan, I was devastated when I heard the sad news. I prefer True Romance to this movie, but I always think of this movie when I think of Tony Scott. For me, it's a better message than it is a movie. It's hard to describe, isn't it? I think it's more of a statement movie. Everyone knows Top Gun, but when you revisit it, it's pretty lean, really, isn't it? I mean, the visuals are great. The whole aviation school drama is fantastic. Tom Cruise is great. Everyone's great. You've got Michael Ironside in it, and that's what really makes the film, which is so much stronger than the script. So I'm going to give it, it's well above average. I'm going to say it's 3.5 stars for me. It's not a 4-star movie. It's not that good, but it's good in other ways. if I can just articulate what I mean. It's a good statement piece. And it's fantastic just to put on and just marvel at the visuals, and you can switch the brain off because it's very lean story to follow. So thank you very much for listening to my thoughts on Top Gun, a real 80s classic. And I'll leave you with just a little bit about myself. As some of you know, I came from another channel, and this is my solo channel. I post reviews based on my opinion and my opinion alone. I'm not dictated to by any of the studios. I'm not working for promotional treats, and I don't even get free tickets. Thanks again for joining me. It was good speaking to you, and I'll speak to you again for another review. Take care.